What was your reaction when you were told after pregame warm-ups that you would indeed start?
I mean, I had a sense it was probably coming. I mean, all week I took, everything in practice. So you had more sense of this is real than usual. So I had a pretty good feeling just based on kind of where he was all week. And, all week you prepare like you're playing, so it wasn't a huge deal.
What were the nerves like, and when did you kind of feel like you settled in?
It wasn't crazy. I felt like I belonged out there. You're in the huddle, breaking the huddle, getting to the line, and going through your processes. It didn't feel overwhelming at all. And I think, I haven't played a lot, but being around the NFL, you're practicing against those guys every day, and our defense is pretty good.
Hey, Charles Robinson is here now for his usual Monday notebook emptying segment. Michael, when we've been talking about the best teams in the NFC, you remember I kept talking about the balance that the Cowboys had. Balance on both sides of the ball, balance on offense, where I felt like they were the team, or one of the few teams whose quarterback did not have to be exceptional in order for them to win. And they took it to a different extreme last night with Dak Prescott sitting out with the calf injury, Cooper Kupp stepping in, throwing for 325. But I know I'm preaching to the choir to Charles Robinson, who's probably
you're preaching
on his
to the
phone.
hat.
But I know that look. I know that posture. The deadline is a day away. So Charles Robinson is multitasking right now, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine with me. It's the day after NFL Sunday. If you got something, Charles, feel free to drop it right here in real time. But we'll get to the back row picture of the Cowboys momentarily. But I got to ask you this, Chuck. You too, Michael. I want to know what was more notable for you last night. That the Cowboys won a low-scoring game without Dak Prescott, as I just alluded to, with Cooper Rush, no less, or that Mike Zimmer, and by extension the officials, don't seem to understand how timeouts work. Getting a defensive delay of game, and they're the only team in the NFL this year to be called for that, because it happened again earlier this year when they tried to call a timeout that they didn't have. Getting a defensive delay of game, and then the officials awarding the timeout only to punish the Vikings for something that they shouldn't have done, and making it a 3rd and 11 versus a 3rd and 16. Y'all watched the game last night. Like, we shouldn't even be talking about a Cowboys victory right now, Charles. So what was the more notable thing? The Cowboys surviving without Dak, or the Vikings once again finding new and creative ways to shoot themselves in the foot?
The most notable thing was that you're at the goal line, and your OC says, let's have Cooper Rush throw a fade 50-50 ball to the back of the end zone rather than hand it to Zeke Elliott, who had just split 2 defenders and fought his way to a first down. The confidence, the stones on your OC to go, nah, we won't run it in with the running back we're paying $18 million a year. Let's take the backup quarterback who – really no experience to speak of up until this point.
Let's not rush it. Let's not rush it. Let's get a ball to rush.
Let's take a primetime game and let's throw a fade to the back of the end zone. Now, granted, it's Amari Cooper, but still a 50-50 fade. I couldn't believe it. When he dropped back and he started to literally cocked his arm, I'm like, what the hell are they doing right now? It was unbelievable. That game was, oh, by the way, the Vikings, remember the go-ahead field goal came really on the strength of 3 penalties that were really iffy. Okay. I could see the roughing the passer on Randy Gregory was a joke. I could see maybe getting a guy for peeling somebody off the pile the way that he did, but and then the hit, going out of bounds. I don't know, man. I don't know what guys are supposed to do anymore to play on defense and not draw flags. But somebody pointed out to me, I had forgotten this. I was when I was in Cowboys camp in 2018, I tweeted out, I would not be surprised. Actually, let me see if I can get the exact tweet here. I said, I bet all 3 Dallas quarterbacks will be in the NFL 8+ years. The 3 quarterbacks were Dak Prescott, Mike White, Cooper Rush. I think I'm on schedule.
Okay, quarterback whisperer. Okay, quarterback whisperer. All right, so
In case you missed it.
well, I mean, listen,
Good
we could spend a bunch of time on the Cowboys. We know they're good. Let's be efficient with our time. We know they're good. We know they're one of the best teams in the NFC. We know they got offense, defense, running game, and they got quarterback depth. Come to find out, Mike White. We just finished talking about Mike White. How'd you feel about how Robert
Before
Saleh,
we get there, don't go to Mike White yet, because real quick,
You got a trade?
I want to.
You got breaking
I want to
news?
ask something. I want to ask Charles something on the Cow. No, not breaking news. I want to ask Charles something on the Cowboys because of what you guys are just talking about, the coaching and not understanding situations. I'm gonna ask you this because I'm going somewhere. Charles, give me the two best coaches in the NFC. Two best head coaches in the NFC are who?
Two best coaches in the NFC. What exactly are we looking for here? Because I mean, they might not be in the playoff picture right now.
My point. Well,
I would take
where I'm
Sean
going is
Payton
that
and Kyle Shanahan. I like those two guys. So that's just
okay.
me.
See, perfect example. And Mike, you tell me if I've gone too far here. I told you, Mike Smith, a couple of weeks ago that I like the Cowboys, but their weakness I thought was their head coach, Mike McCarthy. But as I look at some of these NFC coaches and really coaching in general, I think we may have overrated the game awareness, like just awareness of a clock with the head coaching position. Because you mentioned Sean Payton. Sean Payton has had some really curious moments, including yesterday with the clock.
Mike McCarthy has.
Kyle Shanahan. I'll leave that alone. We can go back a little bit with Kyle Shanahan and the clock. So,
yeah,
Mike McCarthy, I'm not sure I can stick to that hot take that Mike McCarthy is a weakness. His weakness might just blend in with the rest of his peers in the conference and in the NFL. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, there's a time I'm yelling at my TV, Mike Vrabel's, not using timeouts. And, I think every single one of these coaches, not every single one of them, but all these notable coaches, we could definitely trace back to most people forget about Kyle and some of the things that happened in that Super Bowl against the Patriots. People forget how that game was being called and what hand Kyle had in it and the clock management aspect of it. I would say that in general, play calling is probably a better strength now of many coaches in the NFL, but I think timeouts continue to be the bugaboo for a lot of these individuals. Mike McCarthy, I have stopped kind of harping on him about that because I'm like, look at the season they're having. Like I'm not going to keep nitpicking the guy. Yes, clock management was an issue for him in Green Bay. Yes, it's been weirdly an issue at times in Dallas for him. But they're also playing really well. And if it comes to bear, it comes to bear. But I don't get it. Like, it's just a weird, it's such a, and we're talking about really experienced coaches. They're not new guys, right? They're not new at this job. And yet, and that's the one fundamental thing about the NFL that has not changed. There's always been the clock. There's always been a way to use timeouts, right? Like, it's not like we invented something new. In terms of time management. And I don't know that analytics really changes. I mean, I guess somewhat there's certain aspects of the clock that analytics changes, but I don't know.